everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. Well, I want to do a really quick follow-up video to the video I did on Stephen Colbert and the interview that Prince Harry did. Now, I mentioned this in the full version. I actually went through the whole video, but when I went to upload it on YouTube, they gave me a copyright block. And they said I couldn't even play the video. I couldn't even unmonetize it and play the video. They just blocked it. So there were certain parts of the video that caused this to happen. So the full video is on my Patreon channel. Unfortunately, that's just where it's at. I put a lot of time and work into that. So if you want to watch it, it is on my Patreon. However, and I also spoke about the audience situation. Like the article that I was referencing for the story talked about people were really upset about not being able to see Harry in person for the taping of that show, which I did speak about briefly in the full version. So what I'm going to do here is just talk a little bit about the fact that there was no audience at this Stephen Colbert taping with Prince Harry. And what happened, because it looked like, or we heard, it didn't look like anything, but we heard audience. We saw Prince Harry interacting with the audience. So what is going on here? Now, I'm just going to give you my opinion of what I think has happened. Okay. I believe that because they could not do this in front of an audience for security reasons, that's what Prince Harry said. That's what Harris said. That's what Harold said. Because he's not acting like a prince. He ain't a prince. As far as I'm concerned as an American, he's not a prince. He's just Harry Windsor. Or Harry Wales. Harry Wales, Harry Windsor. I don't know. One day I hear Windsor. One day I hear Wales. I don't know. I'm an American. What do I know? But anyway, I believe that they put in sound effects to make it appear as if an audience was there. Because generally, when you watch these shows, they do have a camera pan into the audience for certain reasons. For certain times they do. Especially if the guest is interacting with the audience, they'll show the audience. But in this situation, I found it also weird that they didn't even show the audience when Harry would interact. There were several times that he interacted with the audience. One of them was when he said, well, you're all wearing masks, so I don't know if you're laughing or not. But they didn't even show the audience. We haven't heard from anyone that was actually there that spoke out about being in the audience with a mask on. And you would think that people would speak out because, you know, that's a very privileged position to be in, to actually be in the audience when he's there. So it does appear that there was no audience, but they wanted to trick us. They wanted us to believe that he was there so comfortably in front of the whole audience. And he wasn't. People were really upset about why could we not be here to see Harry in person. These are people that waited in line to get inside. And when they were told by Stephen, Prince Harry would not, or Harry would not be appearing in person, the audience was really upset. And apparently someone yelled, well, who does he think he is? It's not like he's Prince William. People were like, you mean to tell me I stood out here all the way in this cold for over an hour and he's not even going to be in person? Like, people were furious. They were really upset. Why would you do this? When Obama appeared, they were talking about he was in front of an audience and he's the president. So why does Harry feel that he needs to be in the company of like nobody in person when he goes on the talk show, but yet make us feel like that there are people there? There is something very deceptive about that. There is something very like sneaky about that. Why would you just not say, we're not doing this in front of an audience? Is it because they don't want people, or Harry doesn't want people to know that he's scared about his life being threatened? Is that why he didn't do it? It really was a very confusing news article to say that he did this in front of no audience. But then when we watched the interview, we were meant to believe that there was an audience there. And his interacting with the audience could have been something that he just did because we know he was drinking, and they put in the sound to make it sound as if he was actually there in front of an audience. Why would you do this? You have to ask yourself that question, because I believe that he's used to doing that. He's used to trying to make things appear one way when they're really another way. Why would the Stephen Colbert show go along with this? Why wouldn't they just do it with no audience and make it feel that way? Why did they want us to feel as if it was in front of an audience? Because they didn't want to get booed. Harry did not want to get booed, is one of the allegations. He did not want people to boo him. He's afraid that perhaps someone might throw something at him. They want people to believe that they are well liked. And you would almost think, well, if your book is selling off the racks like it is, it's gone to the #1 selling book within the first day than anyone. He's broken a world record. So wouldn't you think that people would like you, that you would be well received? Well, the illusion is that people are buying this book because they like him or that they're fans. No, people are buying this book because it's a train wreck. And just because you're watching a train wreck doesn't mean that you like the person who has caused the train wreck. Okay? It doesn't mean that. So it means that people are watching something very tragic happen and they're curious. They want to see what's going on, and they're going to pay money to see what is going on. Doesn't mean he's well liked. But it also means that Harry wants people to believe that he is well liked, and that the audience was very overwhelmingly happy to see him. They even started chanting, "Harry, Harry, Harry." You know, with technology, with Hollywood and all that they do, they're able to make things appear one way and they really not be that way. That's the magic of Hollywood. And I believe that is what has happened here. He was able to make it seem as if he was well received, he was well liked, and to interact and play with the audience. And the fact that they did not show us the audience tells us that, hey, yeah, I believe probably there was no audience there. It was an illusion to make us feel as if he was well received and liked in front of an audience. Harry and his wife are very scared about the threats to his life. I spoke about in the video there, just about how they plan to talk about him mentioning the number of kills he had before. You know, they brought that up during this interview because they wanted to show, hey, look, hold up, don't get upset. You know, I've said this before. So they are really, really afraid for their lives. As you know, we have not heard from Meghan. You would think she'd be all around, like as his wife on the sidelines, you know, supporting her husband, getting her face in front of the cameras, getting her face in front of everybody. I think the backlash that they're getting from the people that have given them reviews of this book are not very good. They can see that they're well received in terms of the book sales, but that does not equate to how well they are liked and how much people really support them and what they are saying. You don't hear any of the celebrities coming out giving their opinion about the book and this was the right thing to do. You don't see any of that support. They're almost like they're on this island, and this island is got all these people looking at them on the island, record numbers, but no one is really going to save them from this island. You know, and I think that is very revealing. It's very revealing to what we're actually looking at. It's a perception that they are well liked and that people want to see them speak about the things, well, that Harry is actually speaking about, and they don't. People look at this as wrong. Why are you doing this? You're going on this show. You're making people believe that you are well liked by the sounds of the audience, but you're not showing us the audience. We've got reports of people being upset that they could not be in the audience after waiting in line. So what is it? You know, and, you know, going even back to the Netflix series, they didn't have any counter to the things that they said in this Netflix documentary. It was all raving, glowing, you know, relationship and love, and then the hurt that they felt from what people did to them. There's no self-accountability, and they want to paint a fairy tale. And it's no different than what Thomas Markle said to me when he was at the first wedding of Meghan, where Trevor, Meghan's first husband, said to Thomas Markle, you know, now she'll have the family that she's never had. You know, that was said to Thomas Markle by Trevor as well. And Harry said the same thing. So what we have is the fantasy fairy tale that Meghan is painting, that she is someone who is a victim. She wants to be the fairy princess who has been saved by her prince. And she's painting this fairy tale that isn't there. And I think part of that is what happened with Harry and his interview with Stephen Colbert. There was no audience. It's a fairy tale that he's been well received by this book. It's a lie. It's not truthful. And I think we should all really at this point see them as just trying to paint something that they want their reality to be at this point. And that's exactly what we found from the Netflix documentary, from this book Spare, to the interview that Harry did with Stephen Colbert. There was no audience. He was not well received like this. It's all a sham. It's a fairy tale, and Meghan wants us to see the dreams that are in her head.